Welcome back to Edulexis. Today, we are cracking open one of the most powerful and frequently used tools in your entire Python toolkit, strings. In this comprehensive 15-minute deep dive, we aren't just looking at basic text. We are mastering positive and negative indexing, extracting perfect substrings via slicing mechanics, and exploring the brand new, game-changing f-string feature upgrades introduced in Python 3.12. Get your eyes ready, this is where your text processing becomes elite. Before we manipulate text, let's establish exactly what a string is under the hood. In Python, a string is an ordered sequence of characters. Whether you wrap your text in single quotes or double quotes, Python treats them identically. When I write Edulexis, Python creates an immutable sequence object in memory, reserving a sequential block where every character has precise, unchangeable location. Let's look at how Python tracks these locations. This brings us straight into our first core mechanic, string indexing. Because strings are ordered sequences, every single character inside a string is assigned a unique numerical address, called an index. Crucially, Python is a zero-indexed programming language. This means the very first character does not start at index 1, it starts at index 0. Let's see this directly in action inside our terminal. Look at the screen. To access a character at a specific position, we append square brackets to our variable name. When I type course is 0, Python fetches the character at index 0, which gives us capital D. When I execute course 3, it counts up 0, 1, 2, 3, and outputs a L. This allows you to immediately point to and extract any individual element in your text data instantly. But what happens if you need to access characters starting from the very end of a long string, and you don't know its total length? Python provides a beautiful feature called negative indexing. Instead of counting from left to right starting at 0, negative indexing reads from right to left, starting at -1. The last character is always at index -1, the second to last is -2, and so forth. Let's prove this in code. I will write print course is -1. Running this yields tes, the final letter of Edulexis. Next, let's write print course is -3. Counting 3 steps back from the end gives us pex. Negative. Indexing eliminates the messy math of subtracting indices from the string's length, making your text parsing code incredibly clean and highly readable. A critical warning you must keep in mind: if you attempt to query an index that is larger than the maximum available index of the string, Python will throw a roadblock. Notice the screen, trying to print index 15 throws an indexer, string index out of range. Always verify that your index targets lie within the valid bounds of 0 to the length of the string -1. Now that we can extract a single character, let's level up to extracting chunks or subsections of text. This is called string slicing. The universal syntax for slicing in Python uses 3 parameters inside square brackets, separated by colons, start, stop, and step. Understanding how these parameters interact is vital for processing data fields, cleaning files, and building algorithms. Let's analyze the absolute golden rule of Python slicing: that start index is inclusive, but that stop index is strictly exclusive. When I write course 0:4, Python begins extracting at index 0, grabs index 1, 2, and 3, but completely stops before it reaches index 4. Therefore, as you can see on the terminal, it outputs edul, omitting the 5th character entirely. Python slicing is built to be highly concise. If you leave that start parameter completely blank, Python assumes you want to start from the absolute beginning of the string, which is index 0. Look at the code. Writing course 4 without a 0 gives us the exact same output, edl. It is cleaner, faster to write, and recognized as standard Pythonic style. The exact same logic applies to the stops parameter. If you omit the index after the colon, Python automatically defaults to capturing everything up to the absolute end of string. By executing course 4, smiley face, we tell Python to begin at index 4, which is lowercase e, and pull every remaining character. The terminal displays X's, capturing the complete tail of our string. What happens if you leave both parameters blank, writing simply a single colon inside the square brackets? This tells Python to start at the beginning and go all the way to the end. Executing course, smiley face, creates a perfect shallow copy of the entire string sequence. This is a brilliant shorthand method widely used by Python developers to clone sequence data structures safely. Let's introduce the third parameter, the step value. The step parameter dictates the stride or increment of the slice. By default, the step is 1, meaning it picks every consecutive character. But if we change the step to 2, like writing course 0:8:2, Python extracts index 0, skips 1, grabs 2, skips 3, and so on. The terminal displays yells. You are now controlling data extraction jumps. We can combine our shorthand defaults with custom step parameters. Let's write course 3. By omitting the start and stop boundaries, we tell Python to traverse their entire string from end to end, but sample every third character. Running this code gives us UI. This technique is immensely powerful when parsing structured logs, telemetry data, or localized file lines. Now for one of the most famous and elegant idioms in the Python language, reversing a string instantly. By setting our step parameter to -1, like course ::-1, we instruct Python to step backwards through the sequence. It starts at the final index and terminates at the beginning. As you see on screen, Edulexis is instantly inverted to Sixelju in a single line of code. Let's address a foundational concept, immutability. Beginners often try to update strings by writing something like course 0 = x. Look at the terminal, Python immediately stops us with a strict type error. Once a string is created in memory, it cannot be altered. To modify a string, you must use slicing and concatenation to build an entirely new string object instead. Now let's pivot to string formatting, specifically the massive evolution of formatted string literals, or f-strings. Historically, Python used percentage formatting and the.format method, which were verbose and hard to read. F-strings, introduced in Python 3.6, revolutionized this by letting us embed expressions directly inside string literals using curly braces, prefixed with an f. Let's look at standard f-string usage before exploring the new Python 3.12 upgrades. We define a variable topic as Python 3.12. We then construct an f-string by placing an f character directly before the opening quotation mark. Inside the curly braces, we place our variable name. Python evaluates it at runtime and substitutes the value smoothly, producing our output clean and clear. This brings us to the cutting edge. Python 3.12's formal release completely overhauled the underlying f-string parser via PEP 701. Previously, f-strings contained strict syntax limitations that frustrated developers. In Python 3.12, these arbitrary restrictions have been completely lifted, making f-strings infinitely more expressive, powerful, and robust. Let's break down these new capabilities. The first major upgrade in Python 3.12 is quote reuse. In older versions of Python, you could not reuse the exact same type of quote inside an expression block that was defining the outer f-string. You had to alternate between single and double quotes. In Python 3.12, as you can see on screen, you can freely use double quotes inside double quotes without any compilation or interpreter errors. Let's map this to a real-world example. We define a dictionary called info containing keys like name. Look closely at how we print this out. We use outer double quotes for our f-string, and inside the curly braces, we also use double quotes to query our dictionary key. Python 3.12 parses this naturally, saving you from constant quote juggling. The second massive Python 3.12 advancement is support for multi-line expressions inside f-string curly braces. Previously, an expression embedded inside an f-string had to be squashed onto a single line, making complex operations unreadable. Now, you can split your internal expressions across multiple lines, insert line breaks, and write clean, readable code blocks directly within your strings. Look at this code snippet. We are running a complex string processing chain involving a split, a negative index retrieval, and an uppercase conversion method call. Instead of creating long unreadable single line of code, we comfortably split each step of the expression onto its own line within the braces. Python 3.12 executes it perfectly, maintaining pristine legibility. The third major feature shift is the lifting of limits on arbitrary f-string nesting. Before Python 3.12, nesting an f-string inside another f-string was capped and highly error-prone due to parsing constraints. Now, because the parser is built on a formal context-free grammar, you can theoretically nest f-strings inside f-strings infinitely without limitation. Let's build a real nesting sample. Watch the screen. We have a status variable set to active. We write an outer f-string, and inside its evaluation brace, we embed another f-string that constructs an inner statement conditionally. This allows for incredibly dynamic text generation pipelines perfect for building automated HTML blocks, markdown tables, or complex system logs based on internal system variables. Our fourth feature upgrade is a massive quality of life win. Backslashes are now fully allowed within f-string expressions. In older versions, typing a backslash character, like a new line escape sequence, inside the curly braces triggered a syntax error. Python 3.12 cleanly resolves this limitation. Notice how we can now call a string join method using a new line backslash directly inside our brace expression. But wait, there is even more. Python 3.12 also lets you write inline comments inside the f-string expressions. Look at the code on screen. Right next to our dictionary key lookup, we can add a hash symbol and write a developer comment describing the operation. The parser cleanly ignores the comment and evaluates the code, making complex string expressions self-documenting. Beyond cleaner code, Python 3.12's new f-string parser delivers significant performance optimizations. Because the expression parsing is directly integrated into the core grammar rather than running as an isolated post-processing string scan, f-string compilation and execution speed are notably faster. Your data-intensive text formatting operations are now highly optimized at the CPython level. Let's bring everything we have learned today together into one ultimate, comprehensive script. We have synthesized string indexing for targeted access, slicing strides to capture custom subsegments, and the absolute power of Python 3.12 f-strings to output our parsed data with comments, inline joins, and nested expressions. Take a moment to analyze how clean, efficient, and readable this Pythonic code looks. You are now fully equipped to handle strings like an expert developer in Python 3.12. Make sure to clone the repository below to practice these code files yourself. If this deep dive brought value to your coding journey, smash that like button, subscribe to the Edulexis channel, and hit the notification bell for more high-impact development guides. Keep practicing, keep coding, and I will see you in day 6.
Thank you for watching. Like if you learned something, share with your circle, and subscribe for more.